Stephen Thompson, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Pat, you're one of just a few coaches who have been at Pitt for 10 years. You're in your 10th season. Have you taken any time to reflect on your legacy and what you've been able to do for so long at Pitt?
Stephen, no, you don't take much time as a coach to look and see, what you did in the past. You're kind of looking forward. And I think, we're looking forward to 2024. It's not one of those years we had a year ago that you're saying, what kind of legacy do I have? I mean, I think you build your legacy year by year, and, we'll take, each year one at a time. In 2024, we're looking forward to kind of bouncing back and getting where we need to be.
Coach, as a follow-up from that, from the podium, what does accomplished greatness mean to you?
Accomplished greatness. Again, I got a lot of pride. Let's start with the Commissioner Phillips. I think he does an outstanding job. You talk about a leader of this conference, and so to me, it starts when you talk about greatness. It starts with your commissioner, and it trickles on down to your chancellors. We got an unbelievable chancellor in Joan Gable, to our AD Heather Like, and down to every coach in the conference. So it starts at the top. And, I've always said everybody's got to be going in the same direction, and Jim Phillips takes us in the right direction. So accomplishing greatness is really, trying to be the best you can be in everything you do, and that's kind of what we do at Pitt.
Coach, to your right side, third row.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, could you describe what Cade Bell has brought to the table this offseason and how you've noticed the offense change?
Yeah, Tyler, I think it's a great question for the offensive players over here, Gavin and Nate. I think that's a great question, but I couldn't tell you, I don't know if there's been a season, going on season number 10, as Steven said. I can't tell you how excited I am to watch them go. And I watched them in the spring for 15 days and listened to our guys talk about, some of their individual workouts and past skills they've had and team sessions they've had against the defense, of just how much more knowledge they have. And you think about putting a new offense in, going through 15 days of spring ball, and you're installing it in January and February in the indoor facility and meetings, and then you get into spring ball. But we've added a few more layers to that as the summer went on. Our players led that for the most part. I mean, we had little OTAs, as we called them, for 30 minutes. We were out on the field, but I couldn't be more excited. And again, I'm a defensive guy. And, I'm going to turn our offense loose. People wonder, as a defensive guy, do you put handcuffs? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. In 9 seasons, I've never put handcuffs on an offensive coordinator. Well, hey, you have to do this to do that. I let them go be them, and that's how I was coached. That's how Mark D'Antonio treated me when I was a defensive coordinator. He didn't micromanage. I don't ever micromanage what they call, when they call it. That's on them, and I couldn't be more excited for Cade Bell and the entire offensive staff to get that thing rolling here come September.
Coach, from the podium, if we could follow up on the hiring of Cade Bell. Athletic directors talk about having administrators in their bottom drawer ready to call if the moment's right. How long have you known Cade? How long has he been on your radar screen?
It's a great question. He wasn't on my radar very long at all. This was one of those out-of-the-box ones. I think sometimes you go into hires and you're looking, okay, this is what I need. I need a guy who's going to score points, who's going to, have our, offense have some enthusiasm. I need a guy with energy. I needed someone that could be really creative in what he was doing offensively. I wanted that for our players. I talked all the time during the season when things aren't going good and things are going good that, we win as a team and we lose as a team. And when things aren't going good, it's my job to fix them. And, Cade Bell was a guy that was kind of off the radar. You could almost, just did a lot of homework, looked at a bunch of different guys, and it just narrowed down to that guy, and did a ton of homework. And I've done that with most of my hires, and I think those are usually the best hires you make is when it's not like you're hiring a friend. I'm not hiring friends. I'm hiring guys that can help us win a championship. We want to put another one of these rings. I mean, we talk about winning championships. In the last 13 years, there's only been 3 teams that can put a championship ring on their finger: Clemson, Florida State, and Pitt. And we'll make sure nobody forgets that.
Next question for Coach, who would like it inside the room. Coach, we're going to go all the way to the wall where the light ring is. Ellis, right there. Gentleman standing up, right behind you. There you go.
Okay. These lights will blind you up here, so you can't see anything.
Hey, my question is, over the last 2 years, of course, you are playing Pittsburgh again, and first time since, 2011. How important is it to have that series back and to revive football in Pittsburgh?
Start off at the beginning again. What was the question?
No, I was talking about Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, West Virginia. I'm sorry.
Okay. You confused me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's great to have that. You're good. It's great to have that rivalry back. Pittsburgh, we embrace rivalries, okay? We'd love to play Penn State if they would play us. If they won't play us, we'd love to play West Virginia as many times as we can play them. 2 years ago, we got them at home. They got us last year. They're coming back to Pittsburgh. Our kids couldn't be more excited. I think they got an idea really after 2 years what a real rivalry game is. I think you need to lose a rivalry game to understand what it means to you. These guys might be able to, talk about that a little bit, but I think you have to lose one to know, okay, I don't ever want to lose a rivalry game again. And I think that's kind of what we go into this game with in 24.
Coach, still on the left side, third row.
Cam Lemon, DB Can Digest. Just piggybacking off that, you get the West Virginia game back, but then you also host California and then have to go to Dallas. Is that kind of all-encompassing of what college football and college sports is right now, that you still kind of get your little bit of rivalry, but then now you have to go halfway across the country? Yeah,
Cal, Stanford, and SMU are obviously in the ACC. So to me, I don't look like it's some foreign game. We've embraced that. We're excited to have them in the conference. And, our kids honestly are excited to go travel to Dallas and eventually travel to California to go play. I've done that everywhere. So you can look at it as a non-conference game. I mean, it's nothing, that's unusual in college football. It's just, whether it would be a non-conference game or a new conference as far as how things are moving around in the conference exchanges. So I think it's something that we embrace.
Coach, from the podium, over the past 5 seasons, Pitt has collected a combined 230 quarterback sacks. That's the highest total in the nation. A lot of variables that go into that. What's the coaching? What's the scheme? What makes you so good?
It's amazing after 3 years that we lead the country in sacks, because we were just awful last year, weren't we, Donovan? Yes. Because we didn't get any sacks. I think there's a couple things going to. I think when you have an explosive offense, I think when you're scoring points on offense, that helps, because an opposing offense has to come against you, and they have to throw the ball a little bit more. So our guys found out, I think, the hard way last year, when you don't stop the run, and they can be two-dimensional, they can run it and pass it, and you don't know which one they're going to do, you'll struggle. So, if you looked at it like last year, we didn't have that many sacks. Previous 2 years, we were probably pretty darn good, and probably in the top 3 in the country in sacks. But that goes with playing complementary offense and defense together, I think, and obviously special teams. So we're looking to increase that sack total. I don't care who's returning on defense or offense. It doesn't matter. I think we do a great job schematically. Randy Bates is our defense coordinator. We lost one defense coach to the Indianapolis Colts, and Tim Dowse replaces him. And we're excited about, the little bit of newness on defense and getting after quarterbacks.
To your left, last seat in the second row.
I'm Katrina Stackham for Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great.
You've had 9 defensive backs drafted since 2018 and won at least every year for the last 6 years. Why have these guys been so special, and do you see this trend continuing?
Yes, I see the trend continuing. We got another one sitting up here in front of you today that'll have his opportunity to have his name called in next year's draft. Again, like I was asked about the sacks and some of the successes we've had on defense, it comes down to how we play, how aggressive we play. We're going to press our corners. Our safeties are going to be aggressive in the run game and the pass game, and we're in your face. We're in your face. We're not giving you free access. So I think that gives our kids an opportunity to learn what they need to do when they go to the next level. When you go to the NFL, you better be able to play press corners. Okay, you better be able to play man coverage. And I think we're not afraid to go up there and do that. And I think a lot of teams, and again, people have started to press a little bit more, the last few years it seems, but we're not afraid. When our guys get to the NFL, not only are they getting drafted, they're having success, whether they're 6th round or 7th round. Damari Mathis, who just communicating with yesterday, start with the Denver Broncos. It's like, how do you do that? He's a 6th rounder. They're not supposed to, but he gets into those situations in an NFL pro camp or mini camp, whatever it may be, and he doesn't get nervous when he lines up against a receiver in the NFL, and he has to press him. And it's the same thing for our safeties. They're not afraid to play man coverage with 4-man rush. They embrace that as well, and I think that's what makes our guys. They are trained to play coverage, and they're really smart. Like MJ Devonshire, who's out with the Raiders. From what I've heard, they love him out there right now because he's so smart. So whether you're fast, you're strong, intelligence is incredibly important in the game of football, and he's going to do a great job there because he can run it all and he knows it all. He's been trained for a few years.
Coach, your last question to your right, gentleman seated right in front of the camera, right on the edge of the aisle there.
Got him.
Coach, Ralph Amsden, College Football Apostles. I had a couple of recruiting questions for you, if that's okay. First, you got 4 players on the roster from California, but Stanford and Cal joining the ACC. Does that open up the left coast a little bit more for you?
It does. It's a legitimate question there. We actually jumped into Texas. It's a little bit closer. So with the state of California, we've got a couple players from there. We're always, if there's a Pitt connection, we're going to go attack a guy out in California, but that's a long way from home. I think it's hard. But we have jumped down into Texas just with SMU coming into the conference. This is a new place that we're, again, we got a, Austin, Texas native and Nate Yarnell here as well. He was a COVID recruit, so I didn't get down to his home visit down in Austin. But we have really sunk our teeth into the state of Texas right now because of, SMU, but we haven't really done that in California. My philosophy recruiting-wise is to keep your areas a little bit small. I mean, we can say we nationally recruit. We're gonna, we got a kid from Indiana. We haven't had a kid in Indiana since I've been here. So we're gonna go find the best players, but there better be a connection. And if I spread our 10 assistant coaches too thin, they're gonna go into a state and they're gonna hit a few schools and then they're gonna leave to go to the next state. I wanna make sure I dot the I's and cross the T's in every state. And I think that's why, in the last